Anyways, he's right there in the hot dog Big little girl. That's him. This is Stanley and that's the Michael. He was in the old book movies in 1993.
In a place like this, you can't. Welcome back to the Baxter, Dr. Richards. I got the usual for you. Good to have you back, sir. Thanks. You know, I guess one person can make a difference. Enough said.
Invitation, sir.
I should be on that list.
Name?
Stanley?
Yeah, nice try, buddy.
No,
Nice
no,
try.
really, I'm Stanley.
Milwaukee.
I never knew this
And then drink one of those Guarana sodas. Guess it had a little more kick than he was looking for.
Did it work?
Captain, that's your cue.
I thought he'd be taller. Superheroes in New York, give me a party.
These so-called heroes. One question for you.
I never
What
realized this one.
would you like for Christmas this year?
Well, David.
We're running out of lives. Remember this? We got to remember who we are. There's 100% sure.
Well, there's like a little thing. He messes up.
Spider-Man stole that kid's sneakers. Oh, sneakers.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm sure you realize who Stanley is now. Okay, so his full name before he legally changed it was Stanley Martin Lieber. He was Jewish, so, and they didn't, like, it wasn't as, like, that was a weird name for writing comics. So, like, actually lots of people that were Jewish wrote comics, but then they changed their name. Like Jack Kirby, he's a, he worked with Stanley. He was Jewish, and they all changed their names to, like, American names. Okay, so he co-created many of the Marvel characters with people like Jack Kirby, and I'll tell more later. So he started in the 1940s, and he still lives today. Okay, so Stanley's interesting and thought-provoking comics attracted an older audience. And then I got a quote from a quotation from a comic critic today. There is a new audience for comics now, and it wasn't just the little kids that traditionally had read the books. Before, back in the 1940s, comics were just for like little kids. Like you read it until you were like 10, and then you moved on to something more mature. But Stanley made the comics into more like relatable to older audiences. He made they were about more like political tensions and like things going on socially in the society, and so more people of older ages started reading them. Comic books before Stanley were just a cheap form of entertainment. these are books that were in the golden age of comics. They were, they're just like the basic books where it's like you have your protagonist and your antagonist, and in the end the protagonist gets the girl, of course, like that one. And so they're all like these like superheroes that like no one could relate to because they were like really just like superheroes. Like they were kind of like a god, kind of like they had superhuman strength, but then they didn't have any flaws. Stanley changed that, and this is one written before Stanley. This is by Jack Kirby. He illustrated it. So it's like you have your hero, something goes wrong, and he's fighting people, and then in the end he gets his girl right there. So these are the new books written by Stanley. You notice, like, so comic books in like the 1930s, 1940s, they were like black and white. Stanley really started to do them in color, and he started writing more. He wrote more complex plots, and there would be the superheroes. Okay, like Fantastic Four. You know the Thing, like the big like rock man.
Yes.
Like he's really strong. He's a superhero, but he has his flaws. Like he doesn't think he's good enough because he's a rock. He thinks he's ugly. And then you have your Hulk is the same way. Like Hulk's like he's like a tragic hero where the only reason he is like so good and so heroic is because he has gone through so much stuff. Like as a kid, Hulk was beat by his dad. And then X-Men, you have your outcasts that are like trying to work together because they feel like at home together, and so they're fighting for their society. So this is Hulk. So the tragic heroes. This is Hulk's mom. She was killed when he was little by his dad because she tried to stop his dad from beating him, and it ended badly. So Stanley makes like sophisticated plots, and like you all know, like you love the heroes because they are who they are, and they have character behind them now, and they do stuff that normal humans would do, and you can relate to them. So Stanley changed the whole industry. With his new comics, they sold more. They got more like popular. So this is Timely Comics, which was where Stanley started working as a 17-year-old, and he was just like an assistant, like a gopher, and he just erased pencil marks off the drawings that people did. But then when he started actually writing, the comic books got more popular, and the more people started buying them. And this is Marvel Studios, which is like the movies that Marvel makes. So that's their logo. So it's like it transformed just a small little Timely Comics to this huge Marvel Studios that like everyone knows about. Stanley changed creating comic books into an art form. So this is fan art of Venom. So before Stanley, comic art drawing was just like a simple job that you did just because you needed money. It wasn't like an art form. You just drew pictures and they sold, and you just drew the minimum you had to do. But nowadays, it's like you draw pictures and then everyone looks at them, everyone like critiques them and likes them or doesn't like them. And so here's some more art. This one's by Ice Queen on DeviantArt. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but I know what that is. And then here's Spider-Man. This looks really cool. And then now it's in fashion even, like Marvel Comics you can see it everywhere. So Tom's nail painting, and then shorts. The shorts. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure you all seen at least some of these movies. So there's Captain America, Hulk, Avengers, Thor, Iron Man, Daredevil, Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, and X-Men. These movies are just like the first of their sets. There's like tons more after them. Like there's another Captain America, two more Hulks, and another Avengers, another Thor, 2 more Iron Men. There's there's a Daredevil, but it's about her. And then there's more Fantastic Four, and there's the new Spider-Man, which is better. And then there's like lots of X-Men. Okay.
Do you have
Oh yes.
talk to us about your animation?
Okay, so for my emulation, I drew pictures. They're all different because I use different paper and different styles. Okay, so I'll just pass them around. This one is, I named him Cobalt because he's blue. And then this one is just, I don't know, she's like a Supergirl style, but she's got red hair. And then this one I did, I based her off of Wonder Woman, and she can't really see like any superpowers she's got, but she's got superpowers, trust me. And then this one I did Boba Fett. I love Star Wars, so I did Boba Fett, but it's a girl version. This one is another Star Wars. It's a Jedi Knight, but she's got like vibro blades instead of lightsaber. And then I have the big version of that one. And then this last one was, she's a Spartan warrior. I watched 300 and I was like, I want to do one of those. So these are just copies.
Do people have questions? Because you have a couple minutes still, so do people have questions for Lydia about her artist?
Oh, I just had a picture.
Can I
Pass. Okay, so.
I just wanted to know like what type of like drawing styles, like you know how you guys have like like this type of. I just want to know what you use to make.
Oh, I used marker and.
no.
Oh wait, what?
Like
Technique.
yeah.
Oh, I just kind of went with Stanley's style almost, but I changed it a little because I can't draw like the way
Okay.
sorry. So, yeah. Anyone else?
Other questions for Lydia? Or questions about Stan Lee maybe, or about his influence on her?
Did Stanley have anything to do with like the DC comics, like with Batman and all of that? Or was that just...
No, Stanley, DC Comics, it was at the same time, but they were more, so Stanley is like the one person of Marvel, but DC Comics had like multiple people like that go through it. They didn't have like a major, I would have done DC if they had a major like figure, because I like Batman. But, Stanley, he started, like, since he started Marvel, he was like the main figure, and he worked with others though to co-create the characters and the stories, but he's the main figure of Marvel.
So what first got you interested in Stanley? Is he someone you've been interested in for a long time, or just did you find out about him as you got interested in comics? Or?
I've been reading comics since I was little. I started with DC, and I found my favorite superhero, which was Batman. And then I started reading Marvel because my sister's boyfriend gave me lots of comic books from him, like that Stan Lee wrote. And so then that's why I was like, oh, I like these a lot. So, like, they're similar to DC, so that's why I like them. But then they also have like their own like style to them, and so.
Any other questions? All right, and that's right about at 15 minutes. So